Stars of Learning podcast, where your host Jyoti Ji explores the minds of the thought leaders who have vast experience and in depth knowledge in the learning industry. Now, over to your host Jyoti Ji.
Hello, everyone. Hearty welcome to season 2 of Stars of Learning podcast.
And I'm your host for the show. And each fortnight, I interview the thought leaders in the learning industry who will share their best practices of learning to the current scenario. We will also discuss challenges, solutions, latest trends, tools, technology, and leadership and their journey in the learning field. So, friends, today we will have conversation with one and only Archanna Gaarg, founder and CEO of Power Talk. So, why this conversation? So, today we noticed the jobs for her diversity survey found that companies start with 30% of the women at the entry level, while the number of women dips at 10% at the managerial level, and then reduces to only 1% at the leadership level. And it's not likely to change soon, friends. Women are the backbone of our society, and with almost 90% of the employees adopted to new ways of working in 2020, we pose a different challenge for women. So, this year theme of International Women's Day 2021 is choose to challenge. So I was wondering why not discuss on this topic where woman has to challenge herself and not the limiting beliefs she has today. As today, if you look at women have excelled in each and every field from social work to visiting space station. There is no arena which remains unconquered by women, and they are making history. Whether it's politics, sports, entertainment, everywhere women power is all along. However, apart from the core economic issues like racism, sexism, equal opportunity, feminism, bias, gender pay, and many other, right? Women struggle with career development, and that's a big challenge, and progression too. And that is mainly because of the fear they come across. So why not break the ice on how to engage in power talk and move up in our career? So the intent is, we must face towards the sunshine as an opportunity, face it, and never see the shadow. So, friends, I was searching anyone in India who is, especially with kind of a brand with that kind of a network, who is strong in connecting with leaders and negotiating. And she is a brand by herself. And you must explore her power talk with interesting thought leaders. So, friends, Archana is also a global speaker and mentor, and she has expertise in training, PR, and communication, change management, and many more in her kitty. So, friends, her recent honors has been Woman Entrepreneur of the Year 2020, and she's also been an outstanding professional achievement and contribution in Nation Building 2020. So this episode you should never miss out. Do check out on her social profile on what all the quality inside she's working to empower women. I felt this is the need of the hour for the women to engage in power talk. So friends, stay tuned. You will see value for yourself in our conversation. So put your gates on. And without any further ado, let me welcome my guest, Archana Gaarg, award-winning CEO on a mission to add value to her network corporate positioners. Once again, a warm welcome, Archana, to Stars of Learning podcast.
Thank you so much, Jyoti. Thanks for those warm words for me. Thank you so much. More power to you. Very happy to be on your show.
Same here, Archana. I'm so excited that you're joining me today. So let's jump in with no further delay on this interesting topic on, the secrets of Power Talk. So Archana, you have been hosting Power Talk and we will be talking about the whole thing today. And this is a powerful practice. And with your experience, can you share why Power Talk is important?
See, it's about power talk. In fact, I feel any conversation, or any dialogue, any message, the very essence lies in the impact it can create, and that is what we are trying to do at Power Talk. So, the essence lies in the fact that it has to be very impactful. It has to reach out to the right people, and for people to take action. Any conversation that doesn't have any meaning to it, it doesn't really serve the purpose. So even in Power Talk, this is what we are trying to do. If you check out any single episode of the kind of interviews I have taken with the thought leaders, with business leaders across the globe, you will find each episode has a meaning to it. It has a solution to it. There is a voice in the message they are trying to give, which means it's time for us to act, as we all are talking about being in the VUCA world today. I feel life has always been unpredictable, right? There has
Yes,
been instability all along. Different phases of life does bring in a lot of instability, but it's time to
true.
not raise those questions anymore. We need to bring out answers to it, and that's what Power Talk or any message for that matter should be doing now. So that is the main idea behind Power Talk, that we create answers for people to follow, to and solve their problems, solve the situations they are in. Every
Mm,
information that is sent out to them is with a purpose. These leaders
right.
who come on board, the Power Talk that they create through our medium, or any conversation for
Mm,
that matter, has to have that implication on the people when they hear it. They should feel
mm,
energized, they should feel positive, they should see a ray of hope, they should feel there's a light at the end of the tunnel, they should see it as the end of the world. We cannot keep
right.
cribbing over things that have happened. Pandemic is there. We are facing the aftermath of the pandemic today. The lives
Mm,
have gotten completely derooted. There are people have been sacked. Yes, there are people are jobless. Yes, I think this
yes,
pandemic actually, I don't know, gave birth to so many CEOs and entrepreneurs. Yes, but
right.
now what? This is what Power
Mm,
Talk does. It talks about the life now, going forward.
mm,
We are trying to create that impact. We are trying to give solutions. We're trying to
mm,
help and create that message that yes, this is what you need to do. This is the way your life should be going forward. And I think that is very
mm,
important in any message that you want to convey to people going forward. Let's not talk about negativities. Let's not talk about what has already happened. Let all
right.
our conversations be very progressive going forward. So that's the idea of Power
Wonderful.
Talk. And I would, yeah.
Your power talk is so powerful with so many nuggets in it. And you talked about life now. You said meaning, you said purpose, energize, and ray of hope. And you were also talking about the solutions which you want to bring and not talk about the previous problems. Archana, you interact with many leaders, right? And your power talk session is all about questioning people to get the best. So while talking, it's again important to ask the right questions, as that's the one of the hallmark of a good speaker or a leader, right? And how and when questions are asked can send unintended signals about the competence and the power of the other person. So it can be a hindrance, and people become quiet, wondering what people would think. Should I really pose this question and all of that? So if they do not begin that question itself, they cannot go to the meaning, they cannot go to the solution, they cannot go to that purpose. So asking the right question would be a mantra. So how should one handle that and be smart in having such dialogues?
See, you know what? That's the job of a host. You need to do your homework very well. The person you're inviting on the shows, the background of the person, the photo of the person, and the reason why you have that person, and what is the essence of that interview you want to convey in your the message that is finally sent out to your audience. Every interview has a message that goes out, right? So you need to be very clear on what is it that you want your audience to know by the end of the interview. At any point in
Right.
time, if you feel that maybe the person you're interviewing is not very comfortable with the question or would not like to answer it, or it's going the other way to what you had asked, then you need to be very carefully
Mm-hmm.
listening. You need to be listening intensely to each and every word that your guest says, and that is how you can actually maneuver your way through and change the direction of the interview to suit what your guest wants to convey. So that for that you have to be listening very intently and smartly, so that you can handle that situation. And trust me, it's not difficult, because you are very thorough with what you want to convey to your audience, right? So it's very easy. It's just listen very, very carefully to what are the replies you're receiving from your guest, and you
Right.
will be able to manage the rest.
Right. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. By the way, Archana, studies show that women are more likely to downplay their certainty, and men are likely to minimize their doubts and they move on. Even though they have a 60% knowledge, they are confident and they move on. How to deal with this kind of a characteristic which women face most often?
Yeah, it's a beautiful question. And, I think this has been going on from a very, very long time. I think this is quite a deep-rooted problem, a concern, actually. See, I feel men have been raised a certain way, our society being very, very patriarchal. Boys, I think it starts at that grassroots level where we are raising our boys, it's very important, and they have been raised a certain way,
Hmm.
the do's and the don'ts, the kind of the liberties they have, the kind of freedom they have, the kind of authorities they live with, the kind of favoritism that goes on. Women are raised in a way where they are expected to function a different way, react in a different way, talk a different way. The kind of demeanor they have is,
True.
they're supposed to be very quiet and be understanding and manage, as compared to boys who are being raised to understand that they are in authority, that they have an edge up, in respect to their sibling. So I think there it needs to end there. We need to train them to understand that there is, we are talking about gender equality today, but it need not be, and it must not remain as, UN development sustainable goal number 5. It should not be just a number. It has a meaning beyond. So I think we just need to understand that, and it
Hmm.
needs to start at that grassroots level where we teach our boys to treat, their sisters or their mom or their wives going forward at the same level. If they are
Hmm.
not taught to be, be in authority all the time, I think we may be able to change this a bit. Also, the way we tell our
Hmm.
girls to behave a certain way, to dress up a different way, a certain way. I think if we change all those things, a lot will
Right.
change. But then it has to start from that, because this has been ingrained into our systems, so
Yeah.
much, and it is an
Yeah.
age-old thing.
Yes.
So it will
Yes.
definitely
You're.
disturb a lot of people. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it will disturb a lot of people. It will create ripples in the ecosystem. But
Mm,
this is the way it has to be. It has to start at
mm,
that ground level, so that men become the boys, they grow up to become responsible men and understand that,
mm.
this is not how it functions. There has to be
Right.
equality in the way both men and women are in the society, because they both are very important and integral part of the society. You know what, Jyoti, I also
Mm.
feel, men and women, they literally complement each other, right? It's so much fun to
True.
be with them and enjoy
Right.
our successes when they are around, right? So it's so,
True.
and
True.
enjoy their success when we are with them. So I think it's
Yes.
all about, taking each other as a team instead of, working against each other. It's time to work with each other. And I think then it will
Hmm.
definitely resolve a lot of concerns.
Hmm. You were bang on, and the culture is something very deep rooted, Archana. And you may agree today, women tend to say, "I'm sorry" more frequently than men, right? And often they intend it in this way as a uh, ritual way expressing their concern. We need to consciously work on our women's side of emotions. So, what is your nuggets to balance the act?
it's very important. You're very right. Women, again, it goes back to the way we have been raised, and the way men have been raised. Because see, we need to understand that I am sorry is not, so, I mean, this phrase is not used only when you're apologetic towards something, right? It is also when you have bad news. You do say I'm sorry. So, the implication of the phrase differs the way it is used in different situations. But I feel again it's very important that we understand, and even the boys understand, that men understand that to be in authority, or to be able to accept that you have not done the right thing, or you have faltered, and be
Mm.
apologetic. I mean, it's okay. I mean, day in and day out as a leader, we do that, right? So we need to
Right.
learn to accept it. I think again it goes to the back to the same point, which I referred to in the earlier question. It's very important
Mm.
to start it at the very grassroots level, to let people
Mm.
understand it's okay to apologize or say sorry. It's not only the task
Mm.
of a woman, because we women, girls have
Mm.
been known as pacifiers, right? We have been
Right.
trained to pacify situations. We have been trained in our minds to balance out everything. We have been
Yeah.
trained and taught and told that men are, they have a certain mood swings, they have certain way of living life, they have authority in their voice, they like to function a certain way. Whereas so that's how we have trained our girls, and that is what even men expect out of us, that we be, if a man is in a bad mood, then we need to kind of
Mm.
balance it out by either remaining quiet, or do something else, or maybe direct the conversation to a different topic altogether. So I feel, yes, you are right in a way, but then I think a lot has changed over the years. This was definitely the case maybe 10 to
Mm.
15 years back, but I think now with more and more women
Mm.
working, are feeling more, yeah, financially independent, and the kind of education they are seeking at the moment, I think a lot has
Yeah.
changed. But yes, as you very rightly said, a lot needs to be done. I think we just need to train our minds to accept each other as equal, and to understand that women do have mood swings, they too have their preferences, they too have a certain way of reacting to things, and there
Mm.
are situations where men would also be expected to balance it out, to make it a more congenial environment to stay in. I think it is absolutely mutual. It has to come from within the
Yeah.
two people, living under one roof, to make sure it is, kind of implemented, and
Mm.
implemented in a way that both are living a very peaceful, happy life. So I think it has to be both ways.
True. True. Yeah, yeah, very well articulated, Archana. Archana, and you did say that, if you look at few, like last decade, there has been a lot of change in the journey of women. And
Yeah.
you are an award-winning CEO on a mission to add value to your network. And I'm sure you have placed well in your branding. And when I coach many women I see that there is no strong brand building. So, can you throw some insight to the women why brand building and positioning is important? And I'm sure this is applicable to men too, but then let me hear your nuggets on this.
Absolutely. I feel it's very important for both men and women. It's important for everything at the professional and the personal level completely. See, it's very important to be self-aware. It's very important to have that self-love. When you do that, then you get, you understand the importance of everything that is associated with you. You yourself need to understand that you are a
Hmm.
brand in yourself first. That is very important. If I have a company called Power Talk, who does this company belong to? This belongs to
Hmm.
Archana Gaarg. Who is Archana Gaarg? What has she done? So, everything that revolves around you, that centers around you, you become a part of it, and they become a part of your ecosystem. They are not adhered to you, they are weaved
Hmm.
into your system. So when they are
Hmm.
weaved into your system, they are,
Hmm.
all those things are as important as you are. But then you need to feel the
Hmm.
important person that you are. You need to understand that you are a brand in yourself. So it is very important to create
Hmm.
that brand, And how do we create that brand? We have been talking past 1 year, create a brand, have a personal brand, have a professional brand.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has been talking about it, but how do we do that? See, it's very important to first and foremost be understand that you are unique. Acceptance, self-acceptance is very important. See, Archana may not be good in everything. There are so many things I lag in. That is the reason I have a team with me, right? Because Archana cannot do everything. I have a person at the admin, I have a person at the digital marketing level, I have a person at the PR level as well working for me. I have media partners. So why do we have that? Because we have that because we need to complete our circle, right? We need to project the best of who we are, what we are, and what our brand talks. So we need to accept that. So have that acceptance that what are your the points that are good with you, the points that you need to work on. When you have that acceptance, you will be in a position to work on the things that you really,
Right.
really need to work on to be effective. Point number two, it's very important to be unique. Since you have accepted who you are and that you are different from the rest of the crowd, you will always stay unique. You will not become copies of anybody, because let me tell you,
Right.
when you are copy of anybody, you definitely fade away with time, because it's not coming from within you. You're always copying somebody else. When it comes from
Within.
within, it will always stay fresh, because at that
Yeah.
point in time, you're speaking your mind, you're speaking your heart, and you're speaking out from your soul, and that
Wow.
gets reflected in your work. Yeah.
Right.
Point number three for brand building or for personal building is you should be a very adaptable person. You should be able to, by adapting, yourself. I do not mean that you become like a rubber. Yes, you become like a rubber, you become like water. Be like, when water is being poured into a vessel, it takes the shape of the vessel, right? Water has no flavor. You add strawberry, it works like strawberry. You add mango, it starts tasting like mango. All I'm trying to say is, when you are adaptable, you open doors. You open doors. And when you open doors, you
Yeah.
are in a stage of learning. You are in a stage of accepting things where people tell you. You are in a stage of taking feedbacks the positive way. You are in a stage of saying, yes, I can do it. You are not trying to find out faults in what the others are saying. You don't become a parrot. It is very important. You don't become a parrot, because when
Right.
you become a parrot, you are only repeating. You're only and only repeating what you only know. But when you open your doors, that is the time when you start learning. That means you have accepted there are people who are smarter than you. There are smart, and you're ready to learn
Yeah.
from them. Yeah. It's so very important to position yourself there. If you stay rigid, if you stay, and you can't take feedback from anybody, you do not want to learn, you consider yourself perfect, it ends there. It ends there. It ends there. So it's very
Yeah.
important to build your brand in a
Brand.
way where there is a consistency in the way you have gone from a to a B to a C to a Z. So it happens only when you transition to different changes in your life, and that happens when you let the doors open. So it's
True.
very
True.
important to create that presence for yourself, and live by examples. I think that is very, very important when you have a team, or even when you are trying to project yourself in the market. When people know you, you need to follow what you really, really preach. It's very important,
Yeah.
because what you do, your team follows, and that reflects
Yeah.
in your work. Just imagine, I have a certain image. I am going out to the market, and I have a certain image, and I'm talking about my mission and my vision and my goals, right? That's Archana Gaarg talking. But what if my teammate, my colleague, has a different view altogether? Yeah. And if
Yeah.
the same, if my colleague goes out into the market, into the professional world, and he is not even aware of what Archana wants or what Archana thinks of the brand, it's over. It's absolutely
Yes.
over. So
True.
to have everybody
Yeah.
aligned, everybody
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
speak the same language. Everybody need to be aligned with what you really think of the company. They need to be as much focused. They need to be as
Yeah.
much dedicated. They need to be as much energized as you are. Every single day about what Power Talk is all about. you know when they have better
Right.
ideas, when they have better suggestions to give you about your brand, you have reached some level.
Right.
Even then you haven't reached there, you have reached somewhere where you are trying, you have kind of made things uniform for
Right.
yourself. That is the starting point. When you have someone with you
Hmm.
who is at the same level
Yeah.
as you are in terms of what you think about your brand, you have just, that is your stepping stone. From there you start
Yeah.
building. Even there, that is also going to take a long
Right.
time. So patience really wins. But it is something which is
Hmm.
very important,
Yes.
needs patience, needs consistency, needs a very open mind, and you need to be a learner all through your life, because remember, nobody is perfect. You learn every single day, imbibe whatever you think suits your
Yeah.
brand best, imbibe it in your system, practice, follow, and definitely it's going to make big.
Hmm. Wonderful. Wonderful. Archana, you actually gave us such a phenomenal metaphor of water, being consistent, being adaptable, change is something which is so constant, and in the VUCA world we are living and believing in our strengths. So, but in the journey of women, right, many women shy in networking, and in fact, few years back, even I was like that. Can you give your insights on power of networking? As I see you great in networking and partnership with good companies, and you being wonderful guests on your Power Talk. So I wanted to hear from you, what's the power of networking?
Wonderful question, Jyoti, I must say. See, it's the essence of who you are. Literally, you are as strong as your network. And this has always been, and this will always remain for years and years and years and years and decades to come. Now, why it is important? See, one person can never win the battle. I have a strong belief in that. One person can never. Yes, you, even if you start as a single person and you have a vision, you will have a
Mhm.
mob, following you. But then you are not single anymore, right? You definitely have lots of people to
Right,
support you,
right.
and that is what you need to really work on and target on.
Yeah.
I think it is very important. Yes, you are right, women are shy at times to network because they are very they are very judgmental, at times. And they don't want to be
Mm.
judged. Rather, I should be putting it this way, that we feel that we are going to be judged, and we are in the eyes of the people all the time. They would think we are always questioning
Mm.
ourselves. Is this the way to eat? Is this the way to dress up? Is this the way to talk? Is this my perspective the right perspective? Is this the right time to talk? See, again, as I said, it's very
True.
important not to look for validations outside. Be confident of who you
Mm.
are. I know this comes from the deep rooted fact of the way we have been raised, but then I think with the kind of education today women are getting,
Mm.
they have turned into confident women. And if not, we still need
Mm.
just be that confident you. Just be happy with who you are. Have that self love factor in you.
Mm.
Love yourself to the maximum. Be sure of what you want to get into,
Yeah.
and don't look for validations outside.
Yeah.
Val, you are the only check,
Yeah.
for who you are, right? Once
Yeah.
you have done that, I think you're ready to face the world. You will be very
Yeah.
happy. See, in a meeting full of
Mm.
people, men, I have seen women, and quite surprisingly, they,
Mm.
while they are talking, they just kind of lower down their pitch, right in the middle of the conversation. Why?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? When you
Mm.
are convinced, when you have a perspective, it is important to put forth that perspective, and be very clear in what you
Right.
want. You don't have to seal your lips. I'm not asking you to
Yeah.
draw swords and fight. No, you don't have to draw swords. You are just being
Mm.
yourself. And trust me, men adore it. Men love
Self.
confident women, right? Men love to have, yeah,
Mm.
men love
Mm.
to have confident women. They love to have women who are competent. And we need to let them
Mm.
know, yes, we have arrived. We are there. We have a voice. It's
There.
just that you have a voice, and you need to it's to reach the right people, right? So I don't feel you need to be judgmental about yourself. Be sure of who you are, and then
Phenomenal.
just rock the world. Don't, you need not think, yeah, you will find, I mean,
Right.
like, in the time of meetings, by giving presentations, you will find reasons when you feel, oh, is this presentation the presentation people are wanting to, waiting to watch? Yes, be sure of what you have put forth. When you are sure of what you
True.
are doing, then the world will not hold you for anything, right?
Hmm.
You need to be able to justify
Hmm.
every move that you make, right? You should be sure of who you are. You should be,
Yeah.
in fact, I feel
Yeah.
you need not justify this to anybody as long as you are sure of what you're doing. So I think that is very, very
True.
important. You
True.
need to be just sure of what you are doing, be confident, and never seal your lips. If you have a perspective, it must come out at the right time. Don't hold it for a,
Hmm.
later date
Yeah.
to be expressed. No, it needs to be told. The message needs to be sent at the
Hmm.
right time. Do it, and I'm sure this is going to really help women
Yeah.
wake up
Yeah.
that you have a voice. It needs to be heard. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, Archana. This itself is again a powerful insights on validation, self-love, and you can rock the world, uh, Archana. And you have been phenomenal as you have won outstanding professional achievement last year. And any guidance to the women who are struggling on how to balance their career?
See, I was just there was another interview where we were talking about this, and the gentleman asked me the similar kind of a question, and I said, see, there is nothing like a perfect balance. Honestly speaking, Jyoti, I feel there's nothing like a perfect balance. You have work, you have home, you
Hmm.
are responsible for your
Right.
children, their education, and so much more that goes on in the house. Of course, your husband, and even at work, when you have plunged into work, then it needs 100% dedication, right? But I
Yes.
feel that you need to learn to
Okay.
prioritize. That's the only way to strike a balance.
Hmm.
There are moments when a meeting is so very
Hmm.
important, you cannot skip it, because a meeting is not only alone you. There are many people involved in the system, right? So everybody needs to be taken
Right.
care of. So at that point in time, if the meeting needs me, the
Hmm.
meeting needs me. If it could have been postponed, I would have postponed it,
Hmm.
right? So that is
Hmm.
the priority at that point in time and must be looked at.
Right.
In another situation, if there is a PTM, or if there is
Yeah.
any other situation at home that needs to be looked
Hmm.
into, that's my priority at that point in time, and for
Hmm.
that I must take care that work is being
Yes.
looked after by somebody else. If I need to be proxied it, I need to be proxied. That's about it. So I need to prioritize what is important. If
Right.
my home needs me at that point in time, I must cater to that. If your work needs you at that point in time, that has to be looked into. So that balance has to be
Hmm.
created. And trust me, that happens when you have open
Hmm.
communication. People have been talking about work-life balance, but how does it happen? It happens when you have open communication with your people, not only at work, but even at
Happen.
home. Because it's a family, right? Your work is also your family,
Hmm.
right? So it's your,
Hmm.
there has to be open
Right.
communication. There has to be integrated communication where
Yes.
everybody in the system knows what's happening, what are your priorities, what are your things that you would want to do. If there is a
Hmm.
situation, everybody needs to know. So if there is anybody who can
Hmm.
come up with a solution, would come up with a solution, so you can embrace that, adopt that, and then move on. So communication is the key if you really, really want to,
Hmm.
have that work-life balance, and keep all everybody happy, because it's very difficult to
Hmm.
keep everyone happy. You really get spent in the process.
True.
So
Yeah.
to save yourself from that, it is
Yeah.
very important. The life can there can be a balance only when there is perfect communication, where there is acceptance that there are situations that need to be
Hmm.
prioritized, be it work or home, and as per the situation be, you have to take it forward from there. And of course, keep everybody in the loop, everybody with the
Hmm.
right communication pattern, so that everyone can help themselves and help one another solve the situation in hand.
So, Archana, a lot of wonderful things, on, very powerful. Learn to prioritize and the open communication and all of that. Wonderful insight. And Archana, I see you, I follow you a lot on the LinkedIn. So you also say that be the reason to bring you smiles, not wrinkles. Your past is not your blueprint, and rewrite your story. It's not that easy as
Yeah,
said, right? What is your
true.
strategy for that, Archana?
Yeah, so I think, it's very important. See, everyone has a story. Everyone has had fallouts. Everyone has had not good days. You falter, you make mistakes, you make blunders, but then you wake up, you dust off the negativity, and then you again march ahead. Everybody has done that. I have done that. And none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. So it's absolutely okay to make mistakes. But I always say, whenever I'm training women or men, or even I meet a lot of startups, whom we mentor on a day in and day out, I always tell my people, it's so very important to leave things in the past. The only
Hmm.
thing that you should carry from your past are the learnings. You know why?
Hmm.
Because, see, it is our habit, to stay attached to moments, incidents, books, people, the good things, the bad things. We definitely get attached to them, more so much
Right.
so that we completely lose ourselves. It's not
Hmm.
bad
Hmm.
to get attached to people. Please be attached to people.
Right.
That shows your loyalty for them. But you should
Hmm.
not lose yourself in the process. When you lose your center, your center is the fulcrum of energy that revolves around not only you but also the people around you. When that
Hmm.
energy is
Hmm.
displaced, that is when you
Hmm.
completely go moron. You lose focus. You
Hmm.
don't know how to prioritize. You don't know what is important for you. And it's not only for
Hmm.
you, but also the people around you, be it work and home, anywhere. Because
Hmm.
if you are in
Hmm.
the worst of your moods, you will not be able to give your best to the people who deserve the best of you, right? You are creating
True.
stress for them also while you are in stress. So
Yeah.
for that, yes, stay attached, stay focused, love it, relive those moments, definitely,
Hmm.
be it failure or be it the good moments, but don't lose yourself in the process. It's
Hmm.
important to let them be in the good books. When you carry them in your present, then it becomes stale. It
Yeah.
stinks. And when it stinks,
Yes.
it starts affecting your present. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
if anything has gone bad in your past, it doesn't become your
Hmm.
blueprint. Oh, this is what Archana Gaarg is. Oh, this is what
Hmm. Hmm.
Jyoti is. Oh, this is what she did. Right?
Hmm.
Just like your successes, right? Having won the Women Entrepreneurs Award 2020 doesn't qualify me to be with the Women Entrepreneurs Award 2021,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
It doesn't
Yeah.
qualify me to become get me another UAE She Achievers Award. Doesn't
Yeah.
qualify me to be another Achievers Award, maybe some other achiever, or to be with the Forbes or be with Cosmo. No, it doesn't. Similar,
Hmm.
when all good things end where they are, where they were supposed to be. Similarly, all the bad chapters of your life, they are not your blueprints of who you are. So you need to
True.
let them be where they are
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
take learnings from, because every chapter, even a good chapter, gives you
Hmm.
learnings. A bad chapter gives you learnings. Bring them
Yeah.
forward, bring them to your present, and share it
Hmm.
with people so that it becomes a case study. Don't we share
Yeah.
from with our children? I share a lot with my children, how
Hmm.
I was in college, how I was post college in my masters, how I was when I just got married. There's so many stories to tell,
True.
right? So carry
Hmm.
them as stories, carry them as beautiful experiences, because
Hmm.
that is what makes life more enjoyable. But
Yeah.
if you just
Yeah.
if it starts bringing wrinkles to your face, if you overthink about them, then you will be
Hmm.
spoiling your present also. So I think to be able
True.
to
True.
enjoy your past, you have to let it be
Yeah.
in the past and just weave in beautiful moments in your present so that it blooms furthermore. I think that's important.
Wow. It was poetic, Archana. Wonderful one. So, Archana, again, following you, you say life is not a circle, it's an eight. That was a stopper
Yeah.
for me to, get more insight. So what is the story, Archana?
Yeah, so this is one of my articles on LinkedIn, I feel, everybody says, life has come a full circle, but I feel life never comes a full circle. Even if you take like maybe your childhood to your adulthood to your college years to your post college years to your marriage to your woman your motherhood to being a professional to being so much more, but is there any point where you feel okay, fine, now that's it, that's it, now I have lived a complete full happy life? I think that never
Hmm.
happens really. When
Hmm.
I was one of a very good student at school. I achieved, and then I was like, wow, very happy. I will be going to a very good college. That happened. But
Hmm.
then I feel when you make you have a bigger goal and you have certain milestones that you achieve as you go on in life. It doesn't
Hmm.
end the story there. Even if you reach your goal with the way you started, you will have
Hmm.
another goal set for you even before you achieve that goal. Trust me,
Hmm.
that always happens. There is never a sense of completion, and that's what makes
Hmm.
me feel that life is not a circle, it's innate, because you're
Ah.
always in that loop. You will keep, and if that loop is spiral in nature, because you go up and up and up and up and you have your milestones set for you one after the other, you
Hmm.
never rest, and you so
Yeah.
happily take on those responsibilities. Yeah, when my first child was born, I was very happy, and we were like, okay, fine. But then I had my second child, I was like, wow, very happy. Then
Uh-huh.
so life just happens.
Yeah.
You were like, okay, now fine, this has happened now. Okay, I have been working from past 20 years. Okay, fine, now I think that's about it. But no, when you are in the 20th of year of your work, you feel okay, let me give it another five, and you happily do it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say all along, because you have many milestones to achieve, and your goals are get bigger and bigger by the day. You never sleep,
Yeah.
with goals achieved.
Yeah, yeah, very
Yeah.
insightful. So, all my listeners, if you're listening to this story, you should create that, craving for people. Say it's an eight and create that story. It's not a circle, it's an eight. Yeah. So, moving on, Archana, I've come across many women employees, uh, who are very strong in their skills. And sometimes I notice that they see men as a threat, or they start playing low than their caliber. You are a psychology expert. I thought I should be asking you, how should women deal in such a circumstances, as we are going to have men around, and you don't have a choice. You have to work in collaboration with men colleagues, and we should not see them as a
Yeah.
threat. What is your views?
Women, long back, yes, women did have this feeling of staying kind of silent, or maybe have a slow pitch. That, yes, it did happen, but I think now things are changing, because they again, it's all about acceptance. Whether is my
Hmm.
presentation the right presentation, is my perspective the right perspective, will
Hmm.
my perspective be validated, will my suggestion
Hmm.
be considered? So these questions, I think these thoughts, when we move into a boardroom meeting, or when we venture into a meeting, or when we are talking to our clients, or when we are in the process of negotiating with our client, or addressing our teams, when we
Hmm.
started with questions in our own mind, I think then of
Hmm.
course the delivery is going to be poor. So I feel, yes,
Hmm.
you are quite right there, but we definitely as women need to understand that we cannot function like this. We have to be very
Hmm.
sure and very true to who we are, and sure of what we can bring to the table. I think with the kind of
Hmm.
education today women have, they've really kept themselves abreast with the latest trends. They're very
Hmm.
knowledgeable, very competent, and they are doing in all
Hmm.
walks of life. So I think it's time for them to end it at their end. Trust me, when you
Hmm.
give somebody
Hmm.
the liberty to treat you in a
Hmm.
certain way, they
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
So it starts with you, it starts with the woman herself. So you need to respect your being yourself first. When you do
Hmm.
not give anybody the liberty to treat you, as if you do not know, as if you're incompetent, as if you, the moment you
Hmm.
would open your mouth, you would make a fool of yourself. yourself, or as if you're not sure of what you're talking, your degrees are fake, you haven't
Mm.
reached, or you're not capable of holding that position. So when you give
Mm.
them the answers to, when you give them the reasons to doubt your caliber,
Yeah.
then it's okay. It's like an open wound, right? If you have an open
Mm.
wound, people will definitely throw stones. So you
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
be very sure. I mean, you have to trust yourself, trust your instinct, trust your caliber, trust the education you've taken, and feel responsible. When you know
Mm.
you are not only responsible for yourself, but the people for whom, I mean, your ecosystem around you, I think then women won't falter. There is no reason
Mm.
for women to feel that peace, right? Especially not now when,
True.
yes, a lot has changed. I'm not saying that, we are living in 100%. Yes, we are living in a patriarchal world. It will take some time for us to change. But then if every woman decides to make that change in herself first, she will be
Mm.
able to, create impact. Start from your
Yeah.
home. Start from your home. You're a mom, you're a sister, you're a mother, you're a wife. Start from your
Mm.
home, and at home also you have domestic help. Start from your home. Start telling people that you deserve respect. You, the way
Mm.
you are, the way you conduct yourself, the way you dress up, you have to bring authority in who you are. That happens when you're
Mm.
confident within, when you're sure of
Mm.
who you are, what you do, what you know. When you are
Yeah.
clear with the facts, no one can be judgmental about who you are, right?
Right.
So I think
Right.
that's very, very important. Yes, there are women who do that, but then I think it's
Yeah.
time, and we as women need to help the other women. People used to ask me when we used to be mentoring, I love to create entrepreneurs, trust me, I love. Women ask me, I mean,
Mm.
how is this done? How do we do this? How do we reach here?
Mm.
That's what mentoring is all about, right? When
True.
you will be so happy from within if you see there is a woman who has that kind of feeling where she finds herself not at par with her men colleagues. It's time for you
Mm.
to tell her and help her out.
Yeah.
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 See, as I said,
True.
I'm not asking anyone to draw swords. We want complete
Mm.
harmony between this relationship because I feel it's a beautiful relationship. We are
Mm.
as much incomplete as much incomplete, without them as much as they are incomplete without. They are completely incomplete
Yeah.
incomplete without us, right? We both make
True.
a wonderful team. So why
Yeah.
not, live with a complete harmony and complete peace and happiness? That happens when we
Yes.
are both accepting each other the way we are. So we have to
Yeah.
train not only ourselves. If we see any woman, facing that, we need to jump up to her and ask her to give her that support. And I'm sure
Mm.
we can do it. We can definitely.
Mm. Hmm. Interesting, interesting one, Archana. Archana, so I see you running a Power Talk magazine, right? So there are many insights where I see the from on business, technology, and many successful leaders you have brought their stories there. Is there any way my listeners can contribute in this journey?
Why not? See, I thanks a lot for your compliments of Power Talk. It's a lot of work behind Power Talk, and you know what? Each edition, if you notice, it's each article in that edition. Whoever very senior business leaders write those articles, and the
Hmm.
idea of bringing together a single article, that particular article, is all about giving them projection 6 months hence. So if you are reading
Oh.
a February edition, you will be able to understand what the market is going to be 6 months hence. So that is the
Hmm.
idea. So it's a very positive driven, each and every article is very positive driven feel to it, because we want to tell our audience that there is
Hmm.
what is going to be the way forward, what has to be their action plan, what has to be their, what does their drawing
Hmm.
board look like. So it is, we are
Hmm.
trying to add value with that in mind. I think that is really very
Hmm.
important for the readers to know. We don't want to
Hmm.
have them stuck, get stuck into what they are already listening from so many other things going on in the market right now. I think there are so many
Right.
seminars, so much of content, so many
Hmm.
interviews, so much happening at this time. There is so much of fatigue with the people because of all this, so much of fatigue has seeped
Hmm.
in. They need something fresh. They need something which can tell them about the future, about their future. Why
Hmm.
do we go to the astrologer? I mean, yeah, Indians, I mean, we love going to astrologers. We love to think about all other aspect of science also. because you want to
Right.
understand the future, right? So I mean, why
Right.
would you want to read the magazine? You don't want to read the magazine because it's you, or you don't want to read what's already going on in the market. You know what's going
Hmm.
on in the market. You want to know how to solve
Hmm.
things going forward,
Hmm.
so that is what the
Right.
idea is.
Archana, very insightful. And is there anything else you would like to add that will be of value to my listeners, especially on this topic, the secrets of power talk?
Meditation is
Hmm.
one way I see it is something. It is very, very important. I urge and implore everyone to meditate. It is something very important. Your
Hmm.
mental health is very important. When you are happy within, it reflects in
Yeah.
it reflects in the way you are, are with people, and with your people
Hmm.
around, both in professional world and your, I think, the entire world, today, the way we have fought with pandemic and the way we have transitioned very quickly,
Hmm.
adapted to the changes we've seen, both at
Hmm.
home and workplace. I think we are, see, that's why we are called the intelligent tribe. So we need
Hmm.
to stay that intelligent tribe always. For that, you need to really work on your energies, stay positive. And trust me, it's not difficult to stay positive when so much is going around you. There is so much of
Hmm.
instability, but you still need to stay positive. How do you do that? Just give 5 minutes of your entire 24 hours to yourself. In that five
Hmm.
minutes, if you can just breathe in and breathe out, I'm telling you, you will wake
Hmm.
up to be a very focused person. So do that, and
Right.
all my love and good wishes to a beautiful life for everyone.
True, true. Wonderful. And I must say, Archana, you have a contagious smile and definitely very encouraging and positivity whenever I've seen all of your videos. So, with that note, last question. How do you see learning trends in 2021?
Thank you so much, Jyoti. Thanks a lot. You're a very beautiful woman, and thank you so much for having me here. Yes, all of us, learning is something that should never stop. The trends, I think,
Yeah.
we all are aware of it. I think number one is always going to be, people are very open to accepting technology. People have become tech
Mm.
savvy, and they will be very open to staying tech savvy going forward, because that's the way life is going to be now. And
Okay.
keep
Okay.
learning as they go along. Now, another
Mm-hmm.
second point, I feel the gig economy is going to come in a very big way, and it is
Okay.
already seeped into our systems. By gig
Mm.
economy, I mean the fact that corporates will not be able to, would not want to hire people for them on their payroll, and they would want to still avail the expertise of
Mm.
people.
Mm.
And that's where the corporates have learned that it's absolutely all right to have these people who
Mm.
can give them their services for maybe 6 months on a contractual basis, deliver the best, and then move on.
Okay.
So I think that is one
Mm.
learning that has come to be a part of, for not only the corporates, but even people are now very happy about it and accepting the fact that it is as much a respected profile today, as any
Mm.
other being on a payroll. So I think these learnings,
Okay.
and of course, I think people have learned, to be empathetic, to stay in that focus. I think people have learned this, that your
Yeah.
life is beyond your titles for sure, and that
Yeah.
learning will never stop. That learning will never stop. I think the next time anybody is negative or harsh towards the other being,
Mm.
I think the very first thing that would come to their mind is, what if I was in this place? I have been thinking of
Mm.
this all along the pandemic. It's been one
Mm.
year. I have been thinking about
Mm.
this more than ever before. What if I was in that
Mm.
situation? What if I was in that situation? So I think it's
Mm.
very, very important. That learning, I think, will never stop, and it will give us not one but many case studies,
Mm.
within the family,
True.
outside the family, in the professional world,
Mm.
the corporate world. And I think this
Yeah.
will definitely make a world. I think that's God's way of telling us, slow down. Yes, yeah, we are growing. We must grow, but yes, I think the human touch that we had actually literally given up on. I think that learning, that everyone is important and so very precious. I think this has been one year where people have picked up picked up their telephones, their mobiles, and wished one another instead of sending a WhatsApp message on a New Year or a
Right.
birthday or an anniversary or a employees, any important event. I think this is just another very important learning, that human
Yeah.
touch should not go and will not go, and that is important for all of us, because after all
Yeah.
we are on this planet Earth for each other, for one another, of the other. So I
Right.
think that's very important. We need to stay
Yeah.
with each
Yeah.
other. Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful, Archana. Archana, it's not over. We have just wrapped up with our regular episode, but we have planned some specific super questions like a rapid round to know about the leaders who come on the Stars of Learning podcast. And these are some powerful questions targeted to know about you, which will influence my listeners to engage, enlighten, and empower. And that's the mission of my podcast, too. So, are you ready?
Absolutely. Shoot.
Sure. According to you, what is the star moment?
Oh, anything that makes you happy. Anything that makes you happy is a star moment.
So, what inspires you to do everything that you do today?
Well, I think for me, a good night's sleep is very important. To be able to wake up with a smile on my face is very important. That is the most important thing for me.
Okay. You already own a company, Archana. What's one thing you would do differently in learning?
Well, anything and everything that makes me step up what I'm doing with my company. I'm happy to embrace everything that makes it shine even furthermore. The journey has just
Wonderful.
started.
Wonderful. So, what are the three most important things you would like to accomplish right now?
I would like to accomplish. Okay, I want. Yeah, well, I love myself. I definitely love myself, and I definitely want, people to remember me, and remember me, and for the kind of person I have been. So I definitely
Hmm.
want people to remember me as a loving person, as a caring person, as an empathetic person, as a good
Okay.
leader, and somebody who if I can stay in the hearts of the people while I'm gone, I will be
Yeah.
very happy. Yeah,
Okay. So, the
yeah.
characteristics of the best boss or a role model you ever had, and what made that person great for you?
Oh wow, lovely question. Something very close to my heart. Jyoti, I have been very lucky. I have worked with the best of bosses. I mean, I can't pinpoint on one single person. But one thing I would like to tell you is, with all my bosses, be it crew boss, be it Chenas Hussain, be it VLCC, be it RKGs, be it any company I have worked for, even as a consultant, working with the promoters of the organization very closely. I've always worked with the promoters of my organization very closely. One thing I have noticed with all of them, they really give you, they trust you, and they give you the
Hmm.
liberty to work the way you would want to work. Because, at the end
Okay.
of the day, I think what they really rely on is the output. How good
Hmm.
your
Hmm.
output is, and what you start your day or your project or your mind with, and what is it that you achieve at the end of the day or the project that you take in hand. I think that is
Okay.
one thing that which I've enjoyed all along in this journey, that trust
Hmm.
factor of your promoter in you. I think I have really been lucky to enjoy that, to be able to work with them closely, and to be able to even speak to them now, after I have long, I've left them, I'm not working
Hmm.
with them. Even
Hmm.
now I have access to them, and I can speak to them, can stay connected with them. They can count on me,
Okay.
and I can count on them if I am in their city, in their country. So I think that is
Right.
one thing which is very important. I have learned that from them, the patience with which they hear their employee, the patience they've
Hmm.
had to listen to my perspective and
Hmm.
implement it, and also hope in many other people to listen to what I had to say, and go by my judgment, go by my analysis, go by my findings, and implement
Yeah.
it in the company. I think it's a big thing. So those things are very important for a leader to understand. I do it day in and day out. It's so important
Hmm.
to, yes, you lead as a leader, absolutely
Hmm.
acceptable. you lead as a
Hmm. Hmm.
leader, but you should be
Hmm.
ready to follow people. You need to follow your people. You can't think of yourself as the expert or somebody
Right.
as the know all and be all. No, it is not
Hmm.
like that. And people who risk their money, on you, I think if
Right.
they do it, you should really respect it, respect their money, respect their time, respect their judgment. So
Yeah.
I've really learned a lot from all my promoters all along. I think the
Sure.
responsibilities they bestow on us, one after the other, you will be quite surprised to know, Jyoti. I was hired, like in all the organizations, I was hired for a particular profile. And,
Hmm.
with time, I started, realizing that I was, being mounted with
Hmm.
more and more and more and more, other than what
Hmm.
I was hired for. And that used to
Hmm.
really give me a kick, that is to really give me, to do more, to do better each time and be involved in not one but many aspects of their businesses, which I thought were
Hmm.
my own. So I feel that
Hmm.
I was born to be an entrepreneur by the way my bosses treated me, because I never thought
Right.
I was working for their companies. I was working for as my own company. But that
Hmm.
happened with the kind of space they gave me, with the kind of
Hmm.
trust they had in me, with the kind of the attention they gave to my work. I think that really made a lot of difference, and that is for everyone to learn. See, it's very
Hmm.
important. The bosses, the promoters, they never leave. You
Yeah.
should, as an entrepreneur, you never leave your touch in the organization, right? Your touch,
Hmm.
your flavor, your essence always
Yeah.
remains a part of your organization, right? But the people you
Hmm.
hire, like they hired me, or
Hmm.
also many others, when
Hmm.
they become the mouthpiece of who you are and what you want your company to be, I think then that
Hmm.
really, takes it not only contributes to the professional growth but also the personal growth of the employee, and that's what happened with me.
Hmm.
They actually
Got
turned
it.
me into an entrepreneur because they made me feel that way.
Hmm.
So I feel that
Hmm.
is very important message. So as long
Hmm.
as you are very sure on the numbers and the
Hmm.
quality you are
Yeah.
rendering,
Yeah.
and your
Yeah.
work brings to the to the work, I think you are good
Right.
to go. You should be very, very
True.
focused and confident, and should be able to kind of revise those and rework those and revisit them. And as long
Hmm.
as you can do that, I think that
Hmm.
is fun.
Right. So Archana, are there any tools that you use on a daily basis to be a better you?
To be a better you. Oh yes, every day, day in and day out. I think patience always. Yeah, so it's important to be a very good listener. It's important to be a very good listener, be a good listener, be a very good observer. You need to observe things, and understand the other person's perspective. And I think the response time, by response time, I
Hmm.
don't mean that you are slow, but I think
Hmm.
you should be able to absorb a lot of things. And, think before you speak. It's very important to think before you speak and not jump at conclusions, because it's natural. The moment a glass breaks, the immediate
Hmm.
reaction is of, oh my god, what is this? This is one of my beautiful cutlery. Oh my god, this is what my
Yeah.
mom gave me. So there are so
Hmm.
many questions that hit your brain. But the moment a
Right.
glass
Right.
breaks, it falls on the ground, it breaks. I mean, you need
Hmm.
to be still for a moment and just let this seep into your system that it's gone. You're
Hmm.
shouting over it, or you're giving in so many kind of negative thoughts to it, will not bring it back. That
Hmm.
if any human being is able to control that instant reaction, I think we can
Right.
really mature up a lot. And this not
Hmm.
only makes
That's
our
very
lives easy,
powerful
it also makes the life of the people around us very
around
easy.
us.
So that
True.
instant reaction, we need to work on that. And I constantly try. For that, I feel meditation is one thing that works wonders. It does
Hmm.
really help you, align your chakras inside you, and to stay
Hmm.
very calm and motivated, and just
Yeah.
be at peace, because things that cannot be rewinded, they just rewinded. They have gone. They are in the past
Hmm.
now. So better to
Yeah.
live with the present and be happy.
Yeah. Yeah. So Archana, I know you mentioned meditation and the chakras is something very powerful. Is there any other habit you're practicing which has made you successful in whatever you do today?
I think it's very important to accept things. very important to accept things, the way they are. When you have that sense of acceptance of
Hmm.
things, you don't
Yeah.
the other day a gentleman asked me about excellence.
Yeah.
Do you run after excellence? So I was of the same view. It's very
Hmm.
important to accept things,
Hmm. Hmm.
accept things. And we are today we are talking about the why, we are talking about the how, when, where, and staying curious. I think it is so
Hmm.
very important to just stay aligned with everything, that the reason why you are there. When you are
Right.
aligned with your systems, with your center, I think you
Yeah.
go closer to your goals every single day, because you are accepting a lot of things in the process. You are
Got it.
opening doors for yourself in the process.
Right.
So I think
Right.
that is very important. Stay very positive and keep opening doors for yourself. You need to learn to create opportunities for yourself. Open,
Hmm.
more and more doorways for yourself to let positivity come in. Because when that happens, you have to have
Hmm.
growth, you have to have happiness, you have to have calmness, you have to have that peace in your thought processes. You don't rush. You can be a hustler, of course. You have to be a hustler to make things work. But then a hustler
Hmm.
doesn't mean that you stumble.
Hmm.
You can
Got it.
hustle without, but it has to be a stumble-free flight. So that's
Yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah. Sure, sure. Archana, we have come to an end of this interview. And before I ask you one last question, how can people get in touch with you to get more insight, collaborate? Where can they reach out to you?
Yeah, so you can definitely write to me on my email ID. Please feel free to jot down my email ID there. Then, of course, we have LinkedIn. You can send me LinkedIn messages. You have our WhatsApp number, which is a WhatsApp number. It's always given. I can share that number with you. And if they drop a message on our WhatsApp number, then we definitely get in touch with you for whatever the reason. All you need to mention is what is the reason that you would want to get connected to Power Talk with Archana, and someone from my team will get connected with you very soon.
Sure. On a closing note, and that last question, your advice to people who are new and want to accelerate their career.
Okay, I think we've discussed this in the interview, but then I think just one thing that should, you should have that fire in the belly. Have a fire in the belly. And if it's all about startups, then I would just like to add one thing. You must grab the copy of my latest edition of Power Talk. It's all on startups. And one thing
Mm,
I would like to tell up to anybody, any startup, is it's not about that idea. Trust me,
mm,
a startup is beyond an idea. It is,
mm,
about, first of all, you need to be very clear about what purpose of society you are solving.
mm.
When you know that, what is the kind of
Yeah.
team you have. There has to be somebody in your team who understands numbers. There has to be
Mm,
somebody in that team who will be able to take your product, your service to the market. There has to be, you have to have your funds. You have to,
mm,
how would you fund your startup? Are you
mm,
looking at funds from the outside market? What is the right time to
mm,
look for funds from the outside market? Is your
mm,
idea scalable? Is it a very niche product or service that you are offering? So trust me, when it is startup, trust me, I'm just a call away. Please message us.
mm,
We will be more than happy to mentor you
mm,
or to align you to the right mentors. We would be happy to do
mm,
that. Just do
mm,
not plunge into anything and ruin your chances of becoming a good entrepreneur. It
mm.
needs a
Sure.
lot of planning. It needs a lot of judgment. It needs a lot and lots of serious work. A good idea
Mm,
can go flat if it is not well executed. So
true.
it's your money, it's your hard-earned money. So please
Mm,
invest it very wisely. You need to bootstrap
sure.
it. Understand the market, the do's, the don'ts. What is the market going to accept this product? How many do you what are the kind of customers you have? What is the range of customers you have? What is the bandwidth of customers you have? It should not be a
Mm,
niche product. When you are plunging into the market, it cannot be a niche
mm,
product because you're limiting your reach. So have a
mm,
product, have a this thing which caters to the masses. Even if it is a
mm,
routine product, how different you can make it. Even if it is a
Yeah.
routine service, how different you can make it, how you can
Correct.
amplify it, how you can use digital media. It is not one thing, it is many.
Mm,
So my humble request to all the startups, if you are waking up with a good idea in your mind, catch on a nice mentor. You need a nice mentoring to make sure you
mm.
take a safe and a sturdy flight to your dreams of plunging into the entrepreneurial world. That is
Wow.
the only thing that can take you places. If you
Yeah.
just jump into it, you will be ruining your money, and also you will go down in spirits, which is very difficult to come
Mm.
out of it.
Bounce
So
back.
just
Yes.
take, every step is important. Every step is important. You must consider entrepreneurship. It's a beautiful space to be in, and but
Mm.
with the right mentoring.
Sure. This was definitely great insight on loads of learning, Archana. So, guys, all the links and resources which we have discussed in this episode will be made available in my show notes page of my podcast, Stars of Learning, and also on my website, prajvitaknowledge.com. That is PRAJVITA knowledge.com for your quick reference. Thank you so much, Archana, for being on this show and sharing all your wisdom. I really enjoyed this conversation and loads of learning throughout the session. And for every questions, there were huge among us of learning I have got. In fact, self-talk, self-love, uh, essence of life, how to create an impact, financial independence, associations, believing our strengths, and not to look for validation. Learn to prioritize. My list goes on with multiple things, and staying on track and having an open communication. Loads of them, Archana. Thank you so much. This was definitely wonderful, and I'm sure my listeners will enjoy it.
Thank you so much, Jyoti. Thanks a lot for this honor. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation with you. Thanks for this opportunity. Thank you. Have a wonderful life.
Really appreciate your time, Archana. So, friends, I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Archana. If you've got any learning or motivated hearing to Archana, then make sure you do share this podcast with your friends and post it on Facebook, Twitter, Insta, and tag me and Archana, and do let your friends know about this amazing information you have learned, and let this piece of information help you to engage, enlighten, and empower. By the way, I'm always grateful to everyone who tunes in, who listens, who subscribes, and leave a review for our podcast on iTunes. By the way, if you haven't done that yet, that would mean a world to me. So go ahead and on any app you're listening, take a minute to write a quick review. It will help our podcast grow, and I really appreciate your support. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in this show. Bye for now. Take good care of yourself, be safe, and do something engaging, enlightening, and empowering. Thank you.